Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are tackling a scenario that almost every professional is going to face at some point. And honestly, it can be pretty nerve-wracking. Picture this. Your company's ultimate VIP client is flying in from overseas. They're touching down this Friday. And guess what? You are entirely in charge of entertaining them for the evening. You've got to pick the venue, keep the conversation flowing smoothly, and make sure they leave feeling totally valued and impressed. No pressure, right? Well, go ahead and take a deep breath, because by the end of this masterclass, you're going to have the exact linguistic tools and the cultural know-how to handle this whole situation flawlessly in English. Okay, let's dive right in.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're breaking this down into 4 really manageable steps. First up, the art of small talk. Then we'll get into essential restaurant vocabulary. After that, how to make polite suggestions. And finally, we'll wrap up with the power of active listening. These 4 pillars are basically your survival guide for the night.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the art of small talk.
Now, small talk is absolutely crucial. It's the warm-up phase. In international business, especially within English-speaking cultures, you literally never just jump straight into the hardcore numbers or contracts. You really have to break the ice first. Doing that builds rapport, establishes trust, and honestly, it just sets a really comfortable tone for the rest of the night. But that brings up a massive question, and it's one that trips up a lot of people. If you've literally just met this person, what is actually safe to talk about? Take a second. Mentally guess what topics you think are perfectly fine to bring up with a brand new client and which ones are basically guaranteed to cause an awkward, painful silence. Got your guesses? Let's see how you did.
Okay, this is essentially your cheat sheet. It's the dividing line between an amazing evening and a total disaster. Safe topics. Those are your best friends. We're talking the weather, their job, the company they work for, recent travel, local food, or just popular movies and TV shows. These are light, they're universally relatable, and completely neutral. Now, on the flip side, we have the unsafe topics. Politics, salary, religion, and their love life. Guys, these are highly personal and incredibly polarizing. Bringing these up is hands down the fastest way to make a client uncomfortable. So the golden rule here, stick to the safe stuff until you know someone very, very well.
Let's actually hear what those safe topics sound like in practice. Here are some fantastic, really natural-sounding English phrases you can just mentally file away right now. How was your weekend? What job are you doing these days? Have you traveled anywhere nice recently? What's the best restaurant you have been to? Notice a pattern here? They're completely open-ended. They aren't just yes or no questions. They actually invite the client to share a little about themselves, which naturally just keeps the whole conversation flowing.
Moving right along to Section 2, Essential Restaurant Vocabulary.
So the small talk is flowing nicely, and now you need to physically navigate the evening, which almost always involves going out for food and drinks. But before we even look at the menu, we need to clarify the dynamic here. The client is the person using your company's services. They're the VIP. But more importantly for us, you are the host. You're the one entertaining, and that means you are in charge. You set the pace, you make the decisions, and you ensure that your VIP doesn't have to stress over a single logistical detail.
Now check out this incredible-looking curry. This perfectly illustrates a really specific cultural and linguistic nuance. When we say food is hot in English, sure, it can mean high temperature. But in a restaurant setting, it very often means it's packed with pepper and spice. As a top-tier host, this is a vital word to keep in mind, because you really need to warn your clients or ask about their preferences. Not everybody wants a spicy, hot meal burning their tongue off.
Okay, here's another scenario you absolutely need the right vocabulary for. Imagine walking up to a restaurant and seeing this massive crowd. In British English, this is called a queue, literally just a line of people waiting. As the host, a huge queue is basically your worst enemy. There is no way you want your VIP clients standing around on the sidewalk for 45 minutes, which brings us directly to how we completely avoid that nightmare.
You bypass the queue by making a reservation, booking that table well in advance. And at the end of the night, you ask your waiter for the bill, the actual statement of the money owed. Remember how we defined your role earlier? As the host, you make the reservation, and you absolutely 100% pay the bill. A truly successful business dinner means the client never even catches a glimpse of the bill. You just handle the whole shebang smoothly and professionally.
All right, part 3, how to make polite suggestions. So, you've got the topics, you've got the vocab, but how do you actually decide where to go? It's a bit of a delicate negotiation. You want to lead, but you definitely don't want to sound demanding. In English, we use really specific, soft language to pitch an idea. Where should we take them for dinner? How about going there?
How about we try our French cafe? What do you think about an Indian restaurant? How do you feel about going bowling? These phrases are absolute gold because they're collaborative. You aren't dictating, we are going here. You're inviting their input, making them feel super involved while you subtly guide the ship.
Now, there is a massive cultural difference when it comes to shooting down an idea. Let's say your client suggests a Mexican spot, but you know for a fact they hate spicy food. In a lot of languages, you might just say, no, that's a bad idea. But in business English, actually, a blunt no is basically a total vibe killer. Instead, we use something called polite pushback. You'd say things like, I'm not sure about that. Or maybe use the classic sandwich technique. Yes, that is a great idea, but. Or even, sorry, but I'm kind of trying to avoid heavy food today. It gets the exact same point across as a no, but keeps everything feeling polite and super professional.
On the flip side, what if they suggest something totally brilliant, like hitting up a cool jazz bar after dinner? You need to know how to jump on that enthusiastically. A basic yes is okay, I guess, but phrases like, that sounds great, or, oh yes, I'm in, just inject so much energy into the chat. As a host, your enthusiasm is literally contagious. If you sound pumped about the plan, your client is going to be pumped too.
And that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, Section 4, the power of active listening.
Okay, so you've crushed the small talk, navigated the restaurant like a pro, and agreed on a fantastic venue. Now you're sitting right across from your VIP. How do you forge a genuine human connection? It's all about active listening, and it's basically a 3-step dance. Step 1, just prove you're actually awake and paying attention with little sounds like, or aha. Step 2, react emotionally. If they drop a surprising fact, give them a really, no way, or seriously. And step 3, encourage them to keep going. Use prompts like, tell me more, keep going, or what else? This formula is pure magic for making the person talking feel incredibly valued.
Think of it like this. When having a conversation with another person, it is important to show them that you are listening to their opinion carefully. I really want to drive this point home. Those little interjections, the ahas and tell me mores, they are not just throwaway filler words. They're highly strategic tools that honestly do all the heavy lifting in making your client feel respected and heard.
And wow, that brings us right to the end of our explainer. We've unpacked the safest small talk topics, mastered the crucial hosting vocabulary, learned the delicate art of the polite suggestion, and unlocked the real strategy behind active listening. Which just leaves us with one final very important question. Your VIP client arrives this Friday. Are you ready? I highly encourage you to look back over these phrases, literally practice saying them out loud to yourself, and step into that host role with total confidence. You've got the tools. Now go out there and absolutely impress them. Thanks so much for joining me today, and as always, keep learning.